All right, guys, just before we jump into this episode, I've got a very special offer for you. Me and Anthony are hosting a free webinar talking all about client adherence, how to get your clients to stick to the fucking plan, and how to actually support them along the way rather than feeling like you're just dragging them through this. Now, we're heading into summer. Many of your clients will have those goals and motivations to really get a decent result for summer. We all know that clients have these enticing desires to get in shape for summer. But if you feel like you're dragging your clients through it, they're kind of losing momentum, you're not really sure what to say or how to navigate the coaching to really get them to engage, that's what we're going to cover in this webinar. Okay, so if you want to attend, it is completely free. We're going to drop the link below in the description as well, but you can also reach out to us, or you can find this webinar registration on our Instagram at The Coaching Initiative. The date is the 27th of May. It's a Wednesday, and it's at 12 p.m. midday. Okay, guys, we hope to see you there. Otherwise, enjoy the podcast.
Nice.
Did you hear me fart with my hands?
I did, and I was like,
how did I do that? I'm going to have to make sure.
I've never heard you do that before in your life. I've never heard you do that before in your life. You did it while you're running a promo.
Right at the end of the promo.
We're running a free webinar. Make sure to sign up for TCI.
Fucking hell. Felt like Diane Morgan on Lost from Laughing. Have you seen that?
Morgan.
Oh, God, that was so funny. Guys, welcome to TCI Fridays. I'm crying with laughter, for fuck's sake. Sponsored by... Fuck's sake.
Don't put that in.
Okay.
Sponsored by the Coaching Initiative, which is our company.
Oh, God, I'm actually crying. Fuck's sake.
We've lost Jack.
I'm going to regain the audience just by doing this. Are you ready? Oh, I've just triggered about 90% of coaches to go buy Monster now.
If you're just listening and you can name the flavour of that Monster just by opening it, we'll send you one.
Nice.
There you go.
That's a good upsell.
That's a good upsell.
That's a very good upsell.
There you go. Talking of upsells, guys, if you want to help us out, thanks for listening to the show. We're really enjoying doing it. But if you want to help us out, you can like the podcast, share the podcast, all those good things. Okay. You're doom scrolling, you see us pop up, or you see us repost it, like it. That just helps us out, and it literally costs you nothing but time. And I mean, all the time it takes to push a button, it really helps us out. And, I listen to podcasts where people say that, and I'm like, oh, maybe I will, maybe I won't. So let this be the time that you will, because it does help us out.
Literally. And we're all on the same mission here, right? Like, I like to think that a lot of coaches that vibe with our stuff and agree with our stuff would like to share that message.
Absolutely.
Right? So many coaches complain about the state of the industry, but I don't see many actually actively working to improve it and share positive messages.
Do you know what as well? I think that's the thing. That's not what we're going to talk about today, but I think that's a real thing where people talk about the state of the industry, but I think it's just a thing that people like to talk about.
Yeah.
Because it's, all right, well, tell me what's bad about the industry then. Like, tell me what you think's so bad about the industry. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there are things in the industry that need sorting out, as there is in every industry.
Yeah.
Right? There's charlatans in every industry, and ours is a bit wild because it's kind of unregulated, and you can just have. I thought the other day, I was like, I wonder how many online coaches have insurance. Because if you are an online coach, you do need insurance. You do need public liability insurance. So if you're not doing that, please go and do that, because if something happens, you need to be covered. But it is a bit of a Wild West sometimes. It's also a great industry.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many cool things in this industry. Like we were talking on a previous episode about going to a cadaver lab and all the PT, like there was all PTs there. So all PTs that have stopped working for a day or been to work in the morning, which I loved, because we'd both done check-ins in the morning or in the evening even. But, they've stopped working for a day. So not only have they invested finance to go and actually do that, but they've potentially either lost money because now they're not working for the day, or they've moved those clients to another day, so they've invested more time outside of what they would normally do in order to facilitate moving forward.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's first class. And I do genuinely feel like the coaches that spend their time doing that and seeing that spend far less time complaining about the state of the industry.
Totally, because their perception of the industry is, oh, all these people are giving up their time and energy and effort to move forward and learn more and do better for their clients. The people that are complaining are usually the people that are sitting about doing naff all, basically.
Naffle. Sweet naffle.
Well, I was going to swear, but my mum listens to this sometimes.
Brilliant.
I don't need that coming at me.
But that's not what we're talking about
That's
today.
not what we're talking about today. So I'll get off my soapbox.
Does it tie into the conversation
Absolutely.
a little bit? I think it does. It ties in for sure, right? So we're talking today about pricing your coaching. Arguably a challenge for many coaches, both in terms of starting to find a market price that they feel comfortable with, but then also increasing their price over time, right? So we're going to cover a lot of that today. We're hoping that this will be highly valuable for a lot of you guys, but we want to share some personal anecdotes and some personal ethoses on this topic, because we were talking about it at dinner last night, right? So we went for dinner last night.
How was your steak?
It was all right. I could have done with it being medium rare, I think.
I think it's not as good as it used to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even have sauce because I'm on prep.
Well, I'm not on prep and I didn't have sauce either.
Yeah, that surprised me. Should have had sauce.
Nah, it's not. It's not worth it.
Yeah,
Usually it is
Flat Iron fans, let us know. Has the state of this changed over time?
It has. Like, I really, unless my perception of it has changed, but I think it's got worse.
I don't go up steak enough to notice. Bar and Block, that's where it's at.
No, that's where it was. Yeah, but that was Bar and Block was only good because we never had to pay.
Yeah, and the Eat Out to Help Out, where we were getting like buy one get one free on steaks.
Yeah,
we're getting like two 16-ounce steaks.
Yeah, any
for dinner.
day.
Jesus
Bar and
Christ.
Block was only good because we never had to pay. I mean, it was good, but it was also quite expensive. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about either. Sorry.
We were out at dinner. Me, yourself, Joe, and Reese. Real reunion. It was fantastic.
It was like a little coaching table because everyone had coached each other.
I know.
Yeah.
So good, man. And we was really talking about pricing your coaching and this idea about coaches relentlessly putting their prices up because they join a mentorship and they're told they should charge what they're worth. But ironically, the coach never gets to decide what they're worth. Instead, the business mentor just goes, oh, by the way, you're worth this.
That's a good point.
Which is fucking hilarious because they've never worked in that coach's business. So how do you know what that coach is worth?
Yeah.
So that's one side of the spectrum. The other side of the spectrum is coaches that are fearful of putting their prices up because of the idea of pricing out certain people, or perhaps that they feel uncomfortable charging a certain amount. So I think we'll talk about both sides of the spectrum and maybe where we sit in between all of that.
Yeah, if you're listening to this hoping for an answer, I can't promise that we're going to give you one.
No,
but
we'll give you a lot of nuance there.
We'll give you some discussion points around it. How about that? You can set off with that instead. Because I think the businessman stuff is interesting. So we both work with Mark and Jen, both coaches.
Shout out.
Shout out. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about that is that they don't say, okay, the first thing you're going to do is put your prices up.
No.
Because that's just... what that is that's a tactic, right, to show a return on investment. Okay, so somebody comes into a service and they're charging £40 a session, and they're doing 10 sessions a week, right? And then I say, okay, what I want you to do, first thing I want you to do, put your price up by £10, right? So now you're charging £50 a session. You're doing now you're making £100 more per week, right?
£400 a month. So this coach is making £400 more per month, or they wait 6 months and then it's like this coach has made £2,400 extra.
So it's like an instantaneous, I've made a return on my investment, right? I can see that joining this course, joining this whatever, and putting my prices up. But this is the bit that always gets me about that. A lot of coaches deal with imposter syndrome for variants of reasons, right? But if you're charging 40 quid an hour or whatever, and you've got imposter syndrome, and then you go into a mentorship or a course that the first thing they say to you is put your prices up, you're exactly the same, right? Your skill levels are exactly the same, your abilities are exactly the same, but now you're £10 more. Now you'll really have imposter syndrome.
You feel icky. That's the word that comes to my head. You feel icky.
I think it's just fucking stupid, for lack of a better term.
I did it with the last mentorship. Not obviously Mark and Jen, the one that I was in prior to that. And the caveat I had to that was like, they basically leveraged the rest of their audience. So they basically said to me, we know that you provide more value than these coaches and you're more experienced, you're more educated. And these coaches are charging this, so you should be charging more than them.
Got you.
And it was this strange thing of, well, yeah, but you're only saying that because you told them to charge more. So they're only charging that because you told them to charge that. So I'm just charging more than them because of an arbitrary figure that you've made up.
Yeah.
But if they're not worth that, then why should my price supersede that when I think my price is market value, right? And it's this weird thing of, in every other business, in every other industry, companies don't go, we just charge what we feel like we're worth, this arbitrary fucking number, right? Because if you've got an ego, you'll just charge more. And if you feel like you're worth less, then you'll charge less.
Yeah.
Instead, they go, let's objectively look at market value, right? What's the range here of prices, right? And where do we feel comfortable? Do you think Lidl are going, right, we should charge what we're worth, but we're definitely worth less than Marks and Spencer? No, instead they're going, all right, this is the market value. This is the audience we're going to serve, right? They're not sat there going, what do we think we're worth? It's just because it's so subjective, and you can't make business decisions purely on subjective data.
I mean, just on that, there's a really, I don't know if you'll agree on this, but one of the problems with pricing yourself as a personal trainer is you are pricing yourself, right?
Oh, true.
As opposed to pricing your business service.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a difference there, because if you've got a low self-efficacy or a low self-belief, right? And then you're in this industry where people are telling you that you're the product, which you're not, by the way, right? You're the product, you're the service. Your internal lens will dictate how much you feel you're worth. And just like how clients put their worth on a scale weight, you're going to put your worth to a monetary value, which is really dangerous. And we've all done that. So don't worry if you are doing that. But if you're struggling with where to price yourself, or if you think, actually, you know what, my prices should be a little bit more than what they are, I haven't moved them for ages, make it about the business and the service that you provide, not you as a person.
So true.
Because that will massively skew.
Definitely. So the conversation tends to go, and this is how I'll typically direct it to a coach, is if I ask a coach, what's one of your goals this year? And they're like, I might want to put my price up, or I might want to earn more. Yeah. Right. Might want to earn more. Okay, cool. Do you have the scope to take on more clients? No, not really. And there's specific coaches that come to mind, coaches like Dan Slack, probably one of the busiest personal trainers I know. Andy still educates, by the way.
Every week.
No fucking excuses. I'm too busy. It's not. He's very fucking busy. And anyway.
Yeah. Do you know what? He's so busy. He's so busy that I've got no idea he's busy. Because he's got no time to tell me he's busy.
He's not spending time on Instagram saying he's fucking busy.
I'm really busy. Not that busy, clearly.
You sound busy.
Yeah. Whenever you're busy.
That's a conway show like that one. The conversation goes like this. All right, so you don't have opportunity to bring on board new clients at this moment in time, right? So we're really looking at pricing, right? So do we have scope to put your prices up? When was the last time you put your prices up? 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you think you're a better coach now than you were 2 years ago? Yes. Are you getting better results than you got 2 years ago? Yes. Do your clients receive more than they did 2 years ago? Yes. Cool. You should probably put your prices up.
Yeah.
Right. If the answer to those questions is no, don't put your fucking prices up.
Why would you put your prices up?
Yeah.
Why would you? We understand inflation happens, economies are terrible. Don't get me started on Argentina, right? We understand all of that, and that does make a difference. But I think that it's so skewed. Because if you're in the online world, right, and you're charging £200 a month, if you go to £250, that's a 25% increase. That's a huge jump.
Yeah,
that's a massive jump. Have you got 25% better?
Yeah.
Are you delivering 25% more than what you were when you were charging 200? Because and it's hard to quantify that, but I don't think you are.
Yeah.
So where do you get off going, I'm going to put this up by a 25% margin? Like,
Yeah. So true.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And this isn't us polarizing to go never put your prices up, right? There are coaches out there that severely undercharge, and there are coaches out there that have educated and reinvested incredibly well and not put their prices up, in which case you should probably maybe consider putting your prices up, right? But it just stands to reason that there is an objective measure, or there is a business strategy to doing it, right? There is a direction that your business is heading in, a direction that the market is heading in. I've had so many coaches that had to leave business mentors because they were told that they should put their prices up, and they just couldn't sell a high ticket service because they weren't designed to have a high service business. So it's like, you can't charge £300 a month for online coaching if the client only receives a check-in, right? That's a really fucking expensive check-in. That's an incredibly expensive check-in, right? So it doesn't work. So for those clients, actually, sometimes when we've talked about introducing lower ticket services or even group programs where it's like a cheaper service, they've actually thrived on that. And it's just because there's an actual strategy there. Like, who are you serving? What's their regular income? What is the market value for that? Who are your competitors? And then what can you actually sell? Because if you have no evidence of being able to sell that, well, then something's not adding up, right? If you've had sales and consultations and whatever, depending on personal training and online coaching, and the last 10 consults you've had have all failed, it's probably not worth what you're selling, right? It's just a fact. If you've had the last 10 consultations and you've sold every single one, it's very evident that that's very good value for money, whatever you're selling. And that's how you should gauge it. It's just data.
And that's it. It's just data. It's not when somebody chooses not to sign up to your service, they're choosing not to sign up to your service, not they're choosing not to sign up to you as a person. It's just that they might not even know you that well yet. You know, like they need some sort of, if you're selling in a gym, if you're selling personal training in a gym, you're usually selling to people who you've had some level of interaction with across time, right? So that's why we always say, if you want to get busy as a personal trainer, just spend time in the gym. Just spend time on the gym floor, speak to people, say hello, blah, blah, blah. Let them see you train other people. You're going to start conversations, right? And then eventually they're going to sign into sessions, right? That's how it usually works. And it's the same thing online. It's just maybe content or conversations and whatever. But they just know like a small amount of what you offer. If they then come in and inquire about personal training and you're based in, I don't know, Nottingham, because we were both based in Nottingham. So you're based in Nottingham and you have a personal training inquiry and you say, blah, 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 here's the stuff I offer. It's £150 a session. You're just not going to sign anybody up. Because it's twice the top end, right? That's double the top end in Nottingham. So nobody's going to sign up to that because even if they had the money, because it's so far away, right? It's so far away that it's just not going to happen. But somebody out there is going to tell you that, you need that perception of value. Believe me, as a man who's paid people a lot of money for an hour of their time that was not worth it. Looking back now, I just know it wasn't worth it. But it was the perception of those people, right? Where I was like, it's worth that. It's worth that. I've paid £150 for people's time an hour or just shy of an hour where it totally was worth it, because I actively got things out of it. But, it's almost like the cheek of it, I think, sometimes. The cheek of people. But then there's also that thing of demand.
What can I get away with?
If someone's in such high demand, because at some point people probably don't want to just sell an hour. Which is fair enough. Like, if you were running a group program and somebody was like, I want 1-to-1, that's not what you offer. And that 1-to-1 hour is going to take away from you making X amount because you can deliver into your group and make way more. Well, then that gives credence to that 1 hour being so much more expensive, because it's like, if you want this, you're going to have to replace the finance that I would make from 10 people. Right. So that's where it becomes a business decision, based on incomes and all that kind of stuff, right? But if it's just, I'm going to charge that because I reckon I can get away with it, don't charge that.
Yeah, 1,000%. So we talk about this. There's a couple of things that kind of spring to mind, right? One is the analogy that we always use, right, of the mechanic that's hired to fix that boat, right? And they're trying to do it for ages, and then the mechanic's like, oh yeah, I know how to fix this boat. It's going to cost you 10 grand. And the business is like, well, we need this boat fixed really, so we're going to pay the 10 grand. And the mechanic literally tightens like one bolt, and then he's like, there you go. And they're like, what the fuck, we just paid you 10 grand for that. And he says, no, you paid 10 grand for the outcome, for the result of me knowing that that's what needed fixing, because you had no idea, right? So this is the perception of value that changes over time, right? As you get more experienced and educated, you can leverage a little bit of that to charge a little bit more. But only if you get the result, right? Because you can't just exist in the industry for 15 years and then go, well, I've been a coach for 15 years, so I charge this, right? All right, show me your results.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see that if I'm spending that much on you, that I'm getting something out of it. So like you say, like an actual tangible result. The second thing that comes to mind is obviously what we talked about in the restaurant last night about you don't need to serve everyone. So that fear of pricing certain people out, because this is something that I had to overcome.
You made a really good, because I've definitely had that fear, but you made a really good point.
Yeah, because when you think about increasing your prices, sometimes there's hesitation because you're fearful that you're going to price certain people out, right? Which is, it's a natural thing to be concerned about. If you're constantly reinvesting in your education, right? So, I mean, this year alone, like, there was, for me, EML, and then obviously Cadaver Lab, and I'm sure there was one more seminar, I can't remember it. And we're only in April.
When you're continuing with
Built for Coaches, right? So there is constant investment, right? So then you're like, well, yeah, I'm reinvesting and I'm getting better. I know I'm a better coach than I was a year ago, so I should reflect that in my value. And then your second thought is, oh shit, but as I'm selling, I don't want to price certain people out. I want to be available to everyone.
Yeah.
But the thing you need to remember is that you're not the only coach in the industry. So if they can't afford your service, they will just afford someone else's service, and that's absolutely fine.
Totally.
Right? You don't need to cater to absolutely everyone all the time. And accepting that pricing certain people out is not always a reflection of you being unethical. I think that's a big thing. Like, it's not you being unethical, it's just you recognizing your value.
Totally. I actually had this recently. So I got somebody inquired for personal training. So I offered them like a consultation. And like, I don't charge for consultations because it's just a conversation basically. So I offered them, and then they inquired about pricing past that point, which is totally fair. So I just told them what it was.
Yeah.
And they very respectfully came back and said, I'll give you your time back because I actually couldn't afford that. Right. Which I was just like, that's so fine. I can pass your details on if you'd like to another personal trainer who's more within your financial range, blah, 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 blah. Because it's not that, oh, well, I'm not training you because, I'm better or whatever. It's just the fact that I've been doing this for a very long time. I've invested a lot of money into this. I've also moved my entire life multiple times, right? And put myself in facilities where I've made no money or little money and made a lot of money for facilities because they were going to create this education essentially for me.
Yeah.
Like, I've done that so many times now that it would be weird to not charge in line with that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
to make your life harder.
Exactly.
Right? It's hard enough affording to live in London without also going, oh, but I want to make sure I'm available for everyone, so I'm going to charge £50 an hour in fucking London.
Yeah, literally.
You're just going to struggle to survive.
100%, right? So that, it was really reflective of like, well, that's just kind of what it is. But something that you said, this is on a podcast ages ago, of like, I think it was on Ross's actually, which is really true, because I was thinking about it the other day, like, within your coaching, my coaching, it's not just like either a session or a check-in, right? It's also the access to all the information and education that you've done prior, obviously access to the individual, support, all that kind of stuff. And that's what's worth That's where the value is.
Yeah.
Right. So you said about, you end up giving so much information away for free because you're not gatekeeping any of it.
No.
Right. Not at all. Like, but you end up giving so much information away for free that that will actively help people out. So it doesn't even matter that you're pricing yourself out of that person, because they could just follow you and get loads of great content, loads of great information. And then when they're in a position where they can financially commit for a bit, then they're only going to come to you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's probably how it's going to work. Like,
so true.
Don't need to sign everybody up on first, on first goes, basically.
Yeah.
And like you as a good example. So I'm coaching Jack at the moment because we have a very specific outcome that we're going towards. So he approached for coaching. He's more than capable as a coach, right? He's very, very good. But for this outcome, there's let's just lock into this thing. If you'd have turned around and went, I just need some help with this, of course, because, and that's obviously the great thing about working with you is that, and you working with me, is that we just have constant discussions of exchange of information. It's not like we send each other bills at the end of it. Actually, I delivered more information today, so you technically owe me 2 hourly rates. Like, that's not how it works. Now, there's obviously things like you've got to make your business run. You have to actively have an income. You have to have coaches. You have to have clients in your business that facilitate you surviving, paying bills, having good financial health, all that stuff. But if you operate from a position of either scarcity, right? So like desperation for clients, or a position of, I can't tell you that information until you pay me, you will not sign anybody up.
Fucking exactly what I was thinking.
Clip that.
Exactly what I was thinking. Clip it. Because so Strathen actually put this in terms that I really resonated with, but it's something that we both do actively all the time without really thinking about it. I think if someone messaged you on Instagram, right? So, and this is not a prompt for everyone to just fucking message us all the time with their client shit, right?
Just message Jack.
Yeah, but it happens, right? So a coach is just a little bit stuck, and they understand that the process of hiring us as a coach or joining the TCI might just take a bit too long to get to this client's solution quicker.
Yeah.
So they send a voice note on Instagram and it's like, I'm really struggling with the client. I just wondered if you could help out. I'm not going to turn around and go, yeah, sure, that's going to be 50 fucking pounds, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I'm just going to be like, all right, here's some considerations that I would make.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. We have that conversation, right? And Strathen described it as like, it's like goodwill.
Yeah.
Right. This is like a goodwill meter, right? This is how I picture it in my head. When that goodwill meter is full, so you are helping out as many people as possible, the same way on the gym floor, you would help out as many people as possible. It's exactly the same fucking thing. Once that goodwill meter is full, people will sign up to your business. I almost guarantee it.
Yeah.
Right? You just be very fucking helpful. I've never turned anyone away that's asked a question, client question, personal question,
Totally.
etc. I had a coach message me literally the other day. We run an education company and I have clients that pay full price for the plethora of obviously what we involve in the service. The coach messaged me the other day and he said, I'm really struggling with this particular aspect of coaching. And I was like, I've got a client training that I think would be really useful for you. I'm going to share it. Let me know your thoughts. At no point did it even cross my mind to charge him for that.
No.
Because I know what it's like to be that coach.
Yeah.
Where you're stuck.
Totally.
And he doesn't have a group of M10 coaches around him, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have an Anthony in his life or a Joe in his life to refer to and go, I don't really know what to do here.
That's so true. That is... I was laughing halfway through it because you said about, you wouldn't have someone on the gym floor that, you help people out. I just had an image of somebody like dying under a bench press and going, help, and you're going, well, you're on the clock. I'm going to...
Yeah, I'm going to start that stopwatch.
Are you wanting to do one session a week or one spot a week? Because that's going to cost you this. But if you sign up for 4 a week, so you get a good amount of money off. 100%. Like, absolutely. And that's such a, people talk about like building a community and stuff. And I don't think it's this thing of, everyone having the same interests or whatever. But I think a community, what I experienced working with you guys is that The community thing is you have a place to share thoughts, experiences, questions, discussions, all that kind of stuff. That's the value in it. And it's the same thing as the reality of doing personal training as a job or online coaching as a job is that there are just the normal things that happen within a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about before, some of it's relatively mundane because that's life, right?
Yeah.
But you've got to find joy in the mundanity of life. It's exactly the same in terms of building a community, right? It's just asking questions. They don't need to be these like, I've got a client who's got, hypothyroidism and, was missing their third toe on their left leg.
Yeah.
Do you think they're connected? Like, it's not these like cryptic things. It's really quite simplistic a lot of the time. But it's only simplistic because we understand it. And one of the things for me was, I know you'll get this because I do. So online, I coach coaches like you do, and they'll always ask like, I've got a client question if that's all right. And I always say the same thing. I'm like, this is fine. You can totally, and if you want to do a 1 hour deep dive on this case study, then yeah, we'll book in a call and that's different then.
Yeah.
But if you're just asking me a question around like, I'm not sure where to go and I want a bit of direction, the amount of times in check-ins that I'm doing that, or I respond to it on a voice note and I'm just like, here's some considerations to think about, and that just gives you the jumping off point to then go and figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And there's never ever in my head one part of me that's going, oh, I don't want to say this because if I say this, then they'll know. And once they know, why do they need to be in my... It doesn't work like that, A, right? I'm not that insecure, B. But also, repetition is the thing that people... Like, if you say something to somebody and you go, does that make sense? They can go, yeah. And it can make sense there and then. It does not mean that they could then repeat it back to you verbatim. Like, because how many times do you say the same things to your clients and repeat yourself?
Yeah.
Because that's how learning happens. Yeah. Right? So, it's never really a consideration. And I love that thing about, the goodwill thing, if you chase money... If you walk around going, I've got to get some clients, Jen talks about this all the time, got to get some clients, and you operate from that position of scarcity, right, and that thinking distortion of, that's going to be my reaction, is I've got to get more clients in. You're operating from an emotional position now, not a logical one. You can't be emotional and operate with logic, right? Scientific, like neurologically, you can't do that. So you need to calm down, think, let your logical brain kick in, and then make a decision. Because if you make a reactive decision in your business, I'm going to do this because this will blah, 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 blah. It won't work, it won't last, and B, it won't work. Yeah. Right? It won't work. Clients can smell that a mile off when you're desperate. We're not saying sit on your sofa and wait for people to come to you, but things like content, like provide content because it's good content and you're interested in it and it's going to provide value for someone in some way. Yeah. And then lo and behold, who are they going to come back to? Yeah. One of the biggest compliments I got the other day from a client, a mentoring client, because I'm a content king now.
You are content king. Very good.
Very much not, but doing more than I was. And they said your content comes across really authentically. And I was like, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. Because that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not doing it going, right, post this and then wait for the clients to come in. I'm just talking about stuff that I'm actively interested in and that comes into my brain, and that's it. Like, that's all it is at the minute. Yeah. And that's what your approach to a client should be, right? If you're working on the gym floor, you're never going to walk up to someone and go, do you want to buy some personal training? Right? You don't do that. You walk up to people and go, how's it going? How's your weekend? Here's what I did. Here's me being a human being. Here's me training, right? Yeah. Same thing online. Yeah. Exactly the same thing.
It is. It really is. I think the whole business building, pricing yourself, it all still comes back to the same stuff. And I definitely think the whole emotion and logic thing is probably the most abundant aspect, right? Mark was talking about this on Tuesday, right? About the emotional turbulence that a coach goes through, and you can ask a coach how their business is doing, and they're like, oh yeah, my business is fucking struggling, and I'm feeling really shit. And they get like one sell, and then they're like, business is great.
I'm flying.
Yeah, I'm flying.
Yeah.
Things are going really good. And it's like that emotional turbulence, that volatility, it's really hard to remove. It is.
Yeah, totally.
Super hard to remove. But the more you can do that, the better you'll be, because we know it in all of the states, right? Like we say emotion, and you guys are thinking like, whatever, scared, fearful, sad, upset, angry, whatever. Think of it just like the nervous system, right? So emotion is often going to drive sympathetic dominance, right? So sympathetic state, fight or flight, right? Freeze, facade, blah, 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 TCI. But fight or flight, right? So then you go into a sales call and you're sympathetic as fuck, fight or flight. You either become incredibly avoidant, flight, which a lot of coaches are fucking terribly avoidant. So they scroll on Instagram all the time rather than doing what they need to do. Or they're really defensive and abrupt because their nervous systems are fucking jacked up. Right. So when we say like non-emotional, we're really just saying like, calm the fuck down, like get in that parasympathetic state and recognize that fight or flight is going to destroy the actual productivity of your business.
So imagine, like, we're not talking like sit there and be really stoic, like have no emotion, don't be emotional. Hello. Like, what's the thing that I always say, how can I help?
How's business?
How's business, that's it. So if you've signed up with me or Jack, you've probably been asked that question. But when I had a I had a consult call the other day. Now, if somebody's coming to a consult call or a sales call, I don't know what the percentage would be. They're 80% of the way there, right? They actively want the service, right? So I haven't really got to do anything. I haven't really got to sell anything. I've just got to explain how it works, see if we're going to match, because that's really what we're using them for. And if we can actually help them. Now, if somebody comes on and they're all over the shop and they've got, you know, they don't know where they want to go and we can't figure it out, I'm not going to then go, cool, here's how much it is, sign up. Because I actively know I can't help that person. So they're going to come in and they're going to leave as quickly as they came in. You're going to get massive churn off that. It's a conversation of, you're trying to understand where the client is, right? Or the potential client is. Can you actually aid them in moving forward to what they want to do, even though might not be 100% sure on what that is? And if the answer is yes, well, then you've pretty much done it. Like, you don't need to then go, okay, well, you pay now. Like, you pay now. It doesn't need to be that. It just needs to be a conversation. But if they're there, that's why I never understood why you got a bonus if you worked in a gym on sales. You got a bonus if you sign people up. Because if people are walking into a gym to buy a membership, they're already doing it.
I don't know how gyms work. I mean, most of them survive on ghost members, don't they?
Yeah, so that's true.
I think ghost members are the perfect example of buying through emotional volatility, right?
That's very true.
Buying on emotion.
I've got to do something about this.
Yeah. So, and it's the same with even pricing, like the way you price and the way you sell. If you're emotionally volatile and you're selling to people that are emotionally volatile, and then you're like, oh, these clients aren't getting results and they're not staying in the business. It's like, yeah, because you've sold someone that wasn't ready at a price that you weren't happy selling. So how is any of that relationship ever going to work?
Literally.
Like, and a lot of that, not all business mentors, a lot of that is from business mentors. It's shit business mentors that tell coaches to charge an unreasonable amount of money for the service they provide to make sales at certain KPI levels, which means the coach will sell no matter what state that client is in.
You've got to hit the numbers.
Because you've got to hit the numbers. And the validation that coach gets when they make a sale and then the mentors celebrate them, rather than at any point the mentor sitting them down and going, we've reviewed your sales and your churn is fucking massive. So it looks like you're selling to the wrong people. So we just need to reassess a few things. That's good business strategy. Right? That's good business coaching. To just celebrate sales no matter what is fucking stupid.
It's the same. It's exactly the same as weight goes down, celebrate. Weight goes up, bad person.
Literally.
It's exactly the same.
So the self-worth goes into the weight movement. Your self-worth goes into your sales success.
Which rather is not a reflection.
It's not, because then you can't change a behavior or a strategy because it's all emotional, because your self-worth's attached to it. Clip that,
Jack. It's so true, right? It's so true. And I think that I think that stuff existed. I know what you're saying. That stuff existed before the business mentorship thing, but it certainly amplifies it because now you've got people who don't understand that side of it taking people who I don't mean vulnerable, but their headsets aren't in the right place from a business standpoint, and then teaching them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Whereas failure is such an important part of business, and when I'm talking about failure, by the way, I can't believe we've got this far into talking about failure and we haven't done the failures from Step Brothers meme. But I thought about it the other day, so I'm going to hopefully do it before this comes out, because I've thought about that so much lately, and I was like, we haven't done it yet. I can't believe it. Anyway, failure is such an important part of business, and we're not talking about declaring bankruptcy.
2 references. Yes. These guys' references are off the chain.
I'm off the chain. Third. Shot of the devil. We're not talking about failure as in like declaring bankruptcy and having no money, right? But trying stuff and realizing that didn't work, this didn't work, da-da-da-da. That failure, it just equals progression. Like that's all it is.
Yep.
You know, that we've used it in a couple, but that Sam Beckett quote, you know, fail again, but fail better, right? That's what it's about. You failing at business and something not working does not mean that you're a bad person or that you're awful or that you're not worthy or that your self-worth should be low. It shows you that didn't work. So now, but at least I tried it, because now you move on to the next thing. And that's what I really rate about Mark and Jen's approach, is that it's all about getting the people into your business who are right for your business.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody wanted to sign up with me and I just knew they would be a better fit with Jack, I would have no issue going, you're going to do great. You're going to be better off working with Jack.
Yeah.
So I'll send you his details, blah, blah, blah. And I know he wouldn't worry doing it the other way, because we've not done that with each other per se, but we've done it with other coaches where we've sent them to other people.
You sound like you're going to be a nightmare. I think Anthony will be
Anthony's supposed to be, but that's it. Like that's a really secure place to operate from.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you've got to operate from that position, right? And that stuff just comes with. That stuff does not come. God, we're really on one, aren't we? That stuff does not come with just going on a random business course that's going to teach you about sending DMs to people. It comes from knowing more about your craft. It comes from being more educated, being around other coaches, being around progressive people who actually being around progressive people who actually care about their clients, getting a result for the client, making a difference, making an impact. That's the stuff that actually makes a difference and makes a change, and that's why you should work. That's why you should be in the TCI.
Yep, and that's what we mean about aligning the industry.
Absolutely.
It's not about us. We're just trying to be the catalyst.
Yeah, we're just a vehicle.
Yeah. To everyone connecting and doing stuff together and
doing really cool stuff.
Doing really fucking cool stuff.
Imagine walking into a gym and you got 20 trainers in that gym, and every trainer is working with a client, and the vibes are happening, and it's just that person's really, really successful. So is that person. They're all having their individual conversations, right? And working towards this big thing. Imagine the momentum that builds and the environment that builds within that facility. That's what we're trying to cater for or create in both in person and in the online space.
Nice.
That's what we're doing.
Let's leave that there. I don't think I can top that.
No,
okay, amazing guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Very quick, small coaching business shout out to Pioneer Performance up in Newcastle.
Absolutely.
Very, very cool facility. Very cool personal training facility. Jamal's just smacked the mic against the window. Brilliant. A very cool personal training facility up in Newcastle. If you are around that area, we're passing through that area. No, you're all right. Then make sure you stop by and check those guys out. They do host the occasional seminar there as well, which is really, really cool from an educational lens. But most importantly, they are personal training on the gym floor. They are staying true to the roots of what they're about, which we greatly respect. We love that shit. We hate sellouts. We love that shit. So Matty Walker, Sam Bacon, is Club still there?
Yeah, I want to add a little additional shout out to my old coach, so Dan Clubs, Coach Clubs. He works out of that facility. He's been there for a long time. Fantastic coach, like absolutely spot on. Really, really, really progressive guy. Strong too.
We like that.
Ridiculous arms.
Big arms.
Ridiculous arms, ridiculous shoulders.
Yeah.
Very intelligent guy and really progressive in his approach. Would highly recommend him as an online coach. But if you're in Newcastle, go to that facility because they've got some amazing kit.
Yeah.
You can't just go and train, I don't think, because it's some private facility. But again, like,
get a PT session.
Yeah, the best thing you can do if you're a personal trainer in Newcastle or anywhere surrounding that area, like within an hour at least of that facility, drive there, book a session in with Dan or with any of the PTs there. I know there's some good quality PTs there. Book in and just get a session with them. Like, you'll learn so much, for sure.
Very cool. Guys, if you enjoyed today's episode and it resonated with you, please share it. Little arrow repost on Instagram. You can share us on your stories as well. And of course, you can reach out to us at The Coaching Initiative on Instagram, at Anthony Barnes Coaching, at Jack Cade Coaching, or info@thecoachinginitiative.net if you wanted to email us. Okay? We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.